What's up, y'all? Welcome to the YouTube channel. I know this video is a little bit delayed. I was supposed to film it yesterday, but something came up. Couldn't do it. Let's just go over the NBA Week 1 recap, alright? It's more like the first two games of each team, so forgive me. I was watching every game and didn't get to watch a couple games. Most notably, the Clippers-Nuggets game that was on yesterday. That was a good game. I mean, Norman Powell legacy game, Nikola Jokic legacy game. I've seen like a little bit of highlights, but that's my bad. I need to get more into it. I need to watch more. All right, hop into the Rockets versus Hornets game. My main takeaway is a healthy LaMelo Ball is a problem for the league. He's a problem. I don't know. That Hornets team doesn't look that bad at all. They don't look that bad. Now, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're at best a play-in team, but you never know. You really never know. Trey Mann, he showed up in the first game. You know, there's a lot of hype surrounding him off season because the way he's going to dress, because he wants to bring swag back to the NBA. I respect it. It's whatever. Alperen Şengün, I mean, you look at his numbers, they're ridiculous. He wasn't very efficient, but didn't matter. The Rockets, didn't really matter. Two more things. One, Jabari Smith absolutely struggled. He was not hitting shots. He just wasn't doing much at all, on offense or on defense. You want more from your former first-round draft pick at Auburn. You need a little bit more from him. One more thing, last thing about this game, Brandon Miller did go down with an injury. Scary because he started off really, really, really good. Okay, moving on to the next game. Clippers versus Suns. Wow. This is, in my opinion, second best game I've watched through this NBA season. I mean, going into overtime, you got KD versus Harden. Book fouled out. Zubac, my fault, Zoo. Zoo fouled out too. Nurkic, 4 clutch free throws to win. That's what you want for your big man in the new Clippers arena, going against the wall. You know, crazy. I mean, I don't really know how the Clippers are gonna pan out. I had them being a playing team, but are they gonna make it? They need some big games from some big players. They need players to step up. They need Norman Powell stepped up last game, right? But you can't rely on that every single game. It's not consistent. I mean, I got Terrence Mann. Terrence Mann played like crap. He played terrible last game. You just need more, right? The Clippers need one more player to either step up or they're a little bit screwed. Warriors versus Trailblazers. I mean, this was not a good game. It's a blowout. I think we could have anticipated this. The Trailblazers aren't the best team. They're not bad. They're just really young. Shaedon Sharpe is out. Shaedon Sharpe. He's out. What surprised me, Buddy Hield looks really good, right? The Splash Buddies look really good. Stephen Curry shows he's still a elite passer. He's a true point guard. I think if Curry wins a ring, it's not ridiculous to say he's top 7, top 5 all time. Curry's ridiculous, man. Look at Curry, man. Anyways, back to the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers did not look good. I don't really agree with this decision of starting Toumani Camara over Scoot Henderson, but I'm also not the coach of the Trailblazers. I don't know how stuff is working inside the organization. I don't know the chemistry. It's fine. I would rather have Anthony Simons play the 2 and Scoot play the 1 because I feel like that'd be more versatile, and I feel like Anthony Simons would score the ball a lot better. But again, I'm not their coach. I don't make the decisions. Whatever. Moving on. Grizzlies versus the Jazz. Ja. Oh my goodness, Ja. He is back, and he is showing really, really good signs of what we've seen from him before. Before the injury, before the suspension. I honestly forgot how good he was. He looks phenomenal. Just absolutely great. He looks great. His new weapons too. I'm not even gonna say new weapons. I'm gonna say Zach Edey fouled out. Santi Aldama had himself a performance though. Santi Aldama looks really good. Gigi Jackson's out. Marcus Smart, whatever. I love Desmond Bane. I think Desmond Bane's a really good basketball player. I think he's very, very underrated. Moving over to the other side with the Jazz, Lauri Markkanen. Wow. 35 points, 2 assists. He needs some help. Lauri needs a little bit of help. I mean, we've known he's a good scorer, right? 7'3" guard who can shoot the ball. Yeah. Another takeaway from that game is Walker Kessler. Wow. Right? 5 blocks. Like, I don't even remember. I think it was like 12 rebounds. So I don't know off the top of my head. I apologize. But yeah, I mean, Keontae George also. Keontae George sucked. I'm going to put it like that. To put it nicely, Keontae George sucked. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the Bulls and Pelicans game. All right. So, the Pelicans, first off, they're good. I'll say they're good on paper. They have a bunch of good names, right? CJ McCollum, he's a stud, right? Brandon Ingram, I love Brandon Ingram. I'm a Laker fan, so he's got a spot in my heart. DeJounte Murray, who he got hurt. I hope he's okay. I don't know his injury. I'm not gonna lie. I saw he got hurt. Not sure what it is. I forget. It's on me again. And I'm forgetting someone. That's my fault again. Zion. How do I forget Zion? Right. But the problem is their center position. Daniel Theis and Yves Misi, not gonna cut it. Not gonna cut it. Can't make a playoff run with those centers. You need centers, especially in the West with Nikola Jokic. You need them. Nikola Jokic, Anthony Davis. Even Cat, right? You need a solid center. On the other hand, the Bulls. The Bulls looked really good. Specifically, Zach LaVine. I mean, wow. I mean, the Bulls looked pretty good this game. I mean, Kobe White had an off game, but I mean, the Bulls' second game, preview my next game that I'm going over with the Bulls. Kobe White, 35 points. Wow. He is outstanding. Kobe White had a great game, but not in their first game. Kobe White had like 10 points or something. They lacked depth. Giddey had a bad game first game. Second game, Giddey bounced back a little bit, right? I mean, I think that's like all I have to say about this game, to be honest. So let's just move on. I mean, all right, Nets versus the Hawks. Cam Thomas finishes the game with 36 points. 24th quarter points. He is a great scorer. However, I think he stat pads just a tiny bit. Because this is his game, right? He scores a lot. They lose, though. I can't even blame him. The Nets are terrible. The Nets are awful this year. They're just trying to get Cooper Flag. Let's just move on. I don't want to be talking about the Nets. It's really just Cam Thomas, Nick Claxton, who I think he might have gotten ejected. I could be wrong. So let's just go to the Hawks. Trae Young. He does Trae Young things, man. It's not surprising again. I mean, he's a great player. We've been knowing this though, right? We know Trae Young's great. Onyeka Okongwu. Okay, like 91% shooting. That's off the top of my head. Don't quote me. I just remember that. I think it's that. I think he went 10 for 11 with 26, 27, 28 points. Again, could be wrong. Great game from Onyeka Okongwu. Hopefully we see that a little bit more. Capella had a limited role this game. It was probably because Onyeka Okongwu was going crazy. I don't know. And then one of my picks for most improved player, Jalen Johnson, man. It was rough for him. He did not have a good game. He was struggling. Yeah, and anyways, let's move on to Magic versus Heat. Paolo looks phenomenal. I mean, the Magic look really good as a whole. I mean, Paolo looked good. Franz Wagner's a stud. On the other side, Nikola Jovic looked very efficient. Jimmy Butler he's Jimmy Butler, right? We know Jimmy Butler. how I don't think I watched enough of that game to get a full understanding, so that's my fault. I tried watching every game, but I couldn't watch every single game. That one's on me. Jalen Suggs looks good on the defensive end. One more thing I'll add: the Magic look pretty deep. They're a deep team. So let's just move on. The Bucks versus Sixers. Giannis and Dame. That they combined for like 60s, I think. I could be wrong again. Not looking at stats right now. So, I don't know. They combined for a bunch, right? Brook Lopez looks great, right? This Bucks team could do they could do really good things. They could go really far. Now, are they going to upset the I can't talk right now. It's my fault. Are they going to upset the Celtics? No. They're not going to upset the Celtics. I don't think so. I don't see a team beating the Celtics. Maybe in the finals, maybe the Wolves, maybe the Thunder, maybe the Nuggets. But, I mean, the Celtics right now are just the best team. Anyways, back to this game. Off-season signings are working great for the Bucks. I mean, Taurean Prince, he was a bum. He was a bona fide scrub on the Lakers. He sucked on the Lakers. And now he gets new scenery on the Bucks, and he just decides, oh yeah, I'm gonna play like fucking prime Scottie Pippen. It's unlucky. On the other side, Maxey needs help. Tyrese Maxey needs help. Embiid and Paul George are both hurt right now. I understand that. Maxey played great. Oubre played great. In these type of games, I don't see why you wouldn't give your rookie Jared McCain some minutes. You took him 14th, 15th overall, something like that. Right before 16th, something like that. Right before Dalton Connect, who I love. I'm a Laker fan again. And you're not gonna play him. You gave him like 3 minutes. Like that's not good. You gotta give him a little bit more. Andre Drummond has some juice. Andre Drummond looked really good on the offensive and the defensive glass. I don't really have any more to add to that game besides like Sixers depth. Very iffy, you know. All right, moving on. Cavs versus Raptors. Cavs might have the best depth in the league. They might have better depth than the Celtics. They might. I mean, everyone there can play. Everyone. Evan Mobley, when he's healthy, is he a top 5 center in the East? Is he? He might be. He might be a top 5 center in the East. He looked so unbelievably good. Scoring the ball too. He's more of a defensive guy, but he was still scoring so efficiently and so well. The one person that struggled on the Cavs, Darius Garland. Right? I love Darius Garland. It's my guy. He did not have a good game. Not at all. Now, it didn't matter because they won by a lot, right? But he was not making shots. He was getting open looks. He was creating for himself and for teammates. He looked good. Not finishing, not shooting well. He just couldn't get anything going on offense. And he's undersized, so he can't really play that good defense. Donovan Mitchell, on the other hand, he's great. Right? Donovan Mitchell's great. Moving over to the Raptors. Grady Dick looks really good. He does. I think Scotty Barnes struggled a little bit. He didn't struggle yesterday or 2 days ago when they played. I forget who they played. I'll get to that. But yeah, Scotty Barnes struggled in the first game. Grady Dick did really good. One concerning thing for the Raptors, Manuel quickly did take a hard fall. Hopefully he's okay. I like Quickly. I think he's really good. This change of scenery has been great for him, obviously. I mean, the Raptors aren't a great team, but, you know, he's been playing pretty good. He played good last year. He started off pretty good start, so it just sucks to see him get hurt. Let's move on. Going to the Pacers versus the Pistons. Let's start with the Pacers. I'll get to the Pistons, trust me. Pacers barely win. Halliburton, he looked awful. He's looked awful this whole season, matter of fact. He hasn't had a good game yet. He goes from leading the Pacers to the Eastern Conference Finals beating the Knicks. Now, the Knicks were banged up, and now he decides, you know what, I'm good. I got paid. I'm good. Come on, Hallie. I'm rooting for you, Hallie. One more person I was rooting for, and news came out, tore his Achilles. James Wiseman. Off the top of my head, could be wrong again, 6 points in 4 minutes. And as he jogs back on defense after missing a 3, non-contact, Achilles, just gone. It really sucks to see that. I mean, it really does suck, because I thought Wiseman would have a decent season here. He's a second string center behind Miles Turner and maybe Isaiah Jackson. Maybe, probably not. That's all I have to say about the Pacers. I mean, very mid game by the Pacers. Mid at best, honestly. Actually, one more thing. Pascal Siakam, wow. I didn't know. I was not familiar with your game, I guess. I did not know he was that well-rounded. All right, now let's move on to the Pistons. Cade Cunningham. I mean, he's breaking out. He needs a little bit of help. I mean, it's him, Jaden. It's him and like 3 other people. Him and Jaden Ivey are the main parts of that team. Jaden Ivey looked fantastic. I might be a little bit biased. I had high hopes for him going into the season. So far, he's lived up to them, right? He's dropping like 20 points per game so far. He might have outperformed Cade the other day. Not in the first game. Cade was going crazy. But yeah, Ivy looks great. Jalen Duren he's so much stronger than he looks. He's so much bigger than he looks. He's so much more physical than he looks. He looked great, right? He's I don't really know how to put this into terms. He's a perfect center. He's a great NBA center. He's so fundamental. He's so good on defense. He's so good on the boards. And he'll make your layups. He does not have a good outside game, but you don't need him when you have Cade and all those players on the outside. Tobias Harris also. Shout out Tobias Harris. Again, wasn't playing very good on the Philadelphia 76ers. Efficient minutes, right? Way overpaid, but efficient minutes. Had to take a little break when filming. You know, big football fan. Football content's going to be coming soon. So, where I left off. Moving on to the Lakers versus Timberwolves game. The second game of the season, I think. Yeah. Anthony Davis is a top 3 center when he's healthy. It's not debatable either. It's not debatable. It's him, Jokic, and Embiid. Nobody else is better than Anthony Davis when he's fully healthy. That was ridiculous. Like 36 points. Have a day at 80. Rui Hachimura started the game off with like 15 points. I mean, that's great for the Lakers. LeBron struggled the first game. He struggled the first 2 games. He had a good game yesterday, but I mean, it's also the standard for LeBron is so high, right? He's been dominating. He's been at the top of his game for so long that we as basketball fans, we take that for granted, right? One of the greatest players ever, arguably the greatest player ever. Not in my opinion, but that's valid if you think that too. That's enough about the Lakers. I mean, it was a pretty standard game. Connect looked really good. Connect, in his limited minutes, he had an impact. I'm going to move on to the Wolves. What I noticed for the first game especially, they lack a ton of chemistry. That's probably because they all got together pretty late, right? Right before the NBA season. DiVincenzo's not looking good at all. It sucks because I'm a big DiVincenzo guy. I think he has potential to even start on that team. Yeah, I don't know. The Timberwolves bench needs to step up more too. I didn't see anything from the bench that game, and they are such a deep team. They can't have a game like that where their bench underperforms like that. You can't if you're that deep of a team. I mean, Anthony Edwards, he's looked really good shooting from deep. All right, moving on to, this is the first game of the season. Okay, yeah, I remember now. The Celtics versus Knicks. Oh my goodness. 29 threes. And they didn't make a single 3 for the last 5 minutes of the game. That is ridiculous. In your debut game versus a top 3 team in the East. And I don't think that's arguable either. It's a top 3 team in the East in the Knicks. I mean, lately, this is a hot take. I think Tatum is becoming a little bit underrated and way, way too overhated. Everyone's saying, oh, he can't perform, he can't perform. The dude is 26 or 27. Chill out. Remember, LeBron and MJ both didn't win a chip till they were like mid-20s, right? He's got the most points by like by a player in the playoffs under the age of 26, I think. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. That's what I think. Derek White, man, I do not like Derek White, but he is so good. He is so freaking good. Jaylen Brown, solid game from him. It was a blowout. He didn't play that much. Solid game from him. On the other side, right? Miles McBride looked so good. He looks like he's going to break out this season. With Devo out, he's going to step right in and fill that role. I think the Knicks are going to be fine without Devo. And even without Julius Randle. Julius Randle, I forgot to talk about Julius Randle for the Wolves. He looks really good. Brunson, we knew this. I mean, he had a great game. We knew that was Brunson, like a little bit less minutes than usual, but that's also because it wasn't a close game. Just moving on. Cat didn't look that bad at all. OG had a bad game. OG needs to do better. He needs to do better on the offensive and defensive end. That's just an off game, though. You know that happens. All right, let's move on. Mavs versus King. My fault. Mavs versus Spurs. Luka's still that guy. I still think he might be a front runner for MVP. The night I'm filming this is Sunday night. What's his name? SGA just had like a 36-11-9 game. SGA's a stud. I think he's gonna get second. He's crazy. Matter of fact, Jokic had 41 the other night. So I mean, it's gonna be close. You know, it's way too early to tell. Lively. Oh my goodness. Way to fill out the stat sheet. Off the top of my head, I think he had 15, 11, and 6 for a big man. That's pretty fucking good. That's pretty damn good. Oh, and my guy, I was watching the Mavericks last year. I full-heartedly believe that they could have won the finals if they gave my guy Jaden Hardy more minutes. He is so good and so efficient, and he's a great scorer. If you watch the game and you watch the minutes he's in, he impacts so much. He's exactly what they needed last year in the series versus the Celtics. He was knocking down threes all the time. I mean, he's a great shooter. I don't see why they don't give him more minutes. And on the other side, Victor Wembanyama looked really bad. But this is what you're going to get. He takes a lot of bad shots. He takes a lot of... I'm going to rephrase that. He doesn't take a lot of bad shots. He takes a lot of deep threes, off-balance threes. He takes a lot of really weird shot selection. So, I don't know. We'll see. Chris Paul still looks like he's a great facilitator. Stephon Castle looks really good under Paul. And then one last thing about that game is Harrison Barnes. He played really good. That's a sneaky good acquire, or I don't even acquisition. Can't speak right now. My fault. By the Spurs, and Pop's a genius. You know, I love Greg Popovich. He's a great coach. All right, moving to the Celtics versus Wizards game. The Celtics keep rolling, right? Wizards aren't very impressive, but Celtics keep rolling. Tatum, so again, Tatum's really looking really good this year. He solidifies himself, I think, with another great game. I don't really have much else to talk about. I wasn't watching that much of that game because it was a blowout for most of the game. But Jordan Poole looked really good in the first quarter, especially. He had 17 points at 8 minutes or something like that. 5 threes in the first quarter or something. He looked really, really good. And he's like the Jordan Poole he's the Jordan Poole of old. But the Warriors Jordan Poole. He's playing with a lot more confidence, you know. I love the way Bilal Coulibaly plays. I don't know if I mispronounced his name there, but I think he's a very, very important and vital piece to this Wizards team, even though the Wizards aren't very good. One more thing. Alexander Sarr does not look good. He looks terrible. Your second overall, Sarr, it's not good looks, man. It's not good looks. Moving on to the Thunder versus Nuggets game. SGA. Again, is he going to win MVP? He might. He honestly might. Because OKC looks great. The Thunder look absolutely great. And he's the best player on the Thunder, and that's not close. Aaron Wiggins. Man, last year, Aaron Wiggins near the end of the year started getting more minutes, and he kept getting more efficient and more efficient. This year, he doesn't have very much minutes, but he's so efficient in the minutes. And it's hard for him to play in that system because there's so many good players, right? So many good players. I don't know. Moving to the Nuggets side of this game, Nikola Jokic is a triple-double machine. We know that. We've always known Nikola Jokic is going to get himself a triple-double. Jamal Murray looked really bad. He struggled. I can't really say much else about that game besides that. Nuggets depth also was bad. They're really top heavy that game, I feel like. They just need better all around playing, I'm not gonna lie. Moving to the Wolves versus Kings game. The Wolves look really that was the best game so far. Gotta say that. Wolves Kings. That was the best game I've watched. I know the Clippers Suns game went into overtime and it was Harden versus KD. I know, that's sick. Really good game. Wolves Kings, so much better. Here's why. The Wolves were down by 15 points going into like mid-third, maybe early fourth. They come back and win. Julius Randle looks so good. So good. He looks great. He's playing great for the Wolves. Anthony Edwards is playing like we know Anthony Edwards can play. He is also super, super, super good. Right? I'm really impressed on how Ant's shooting the ball. I think I've said that earlier in this video, but I'm gonna keep saying it. He's making 5 per game so far, and that's pretty big. It's really big. Moving to the other side, the Kings. I know they lost the game. They look awesome. They look great. They look great. I loved DeMar DeRozan. I loved him. He played super, super good. Keegan Murray looked so good from behind the arc. He's showing his potential. It looks great. His potential is 100% there. He's a great scorer. He just really is. He's a great he completes that team. That's what I'm trying to say. He really does. Again, DeMar DeRozan, so good. And Malik Monk, man, he looks like the 6th man of the year right now. I might have missed on that. I probably did miss on that. That game was phenomenal. Moving to the Raptors versus Sixers game. Sixers are in trouble. But let's start with the Raptors side. Scotty Barnes looked really good, right? He just fills out the stat sheet. He's not the flashiest player, but he puts up really good numbers. They win the game, right? There's not another big player that really stands out that much to me, but I will say the Raptors' depth did play, their bench players and their role players. They all played really good. They all did their job. That's why they won the game. On the other side, Kelly Oubre played really good. I love Kelly Oubre. Around here, I love Kelly Oubre. So I'm going to be a little bit biased towards him. But on the other side of that, Tyrese Maxey, he's scoring a lot of points, but he's also really, really inefficient. I think tonight he scored 45 in 43 minutes. It's pretty good, right? Maxey's a stud. I love Maxey. I want to see a little bit more from him. But this game proved the Sixers need Embiid and they need Paul George to win. They do. As far as the rest of their bench goes, they played all right, right? Nothing crazy, but they played all right. Moving to the Magic versus Nets game. Franz Wagner is so good. Franz Wagner, he looked great, right? Him and Banchero are going to be a really good duo. They're underrated. Both of those guys are underrated. Banchero's getting a little bit more attention now, which is great because I think he's really good. Even though he did struggle scoring this game, he really, really struggled to score the ball. But even though he struggled scoring, he still impacted the offensive end. I think he had like 9 assists. So, he's contributing. One more thing I will say about the Magic is just, if you watch a Magic game, look for number 14, Gary Harris. He's been shooting super well, especially the first game. The first game he shot better than this game, but he's still, he's all right. Nets, not much to say about it besides Cam Thomas is very inefficient. He's going to get his shots up. We've established this. We know what type of player he is. Dennis Schroeder, I mean, he's kind of random. I'm not going to lie. He did good, though. And tonight, I think he dropped 29 tonight. So, very, very solid from him, honestly. But otherwise, the Nets are in trouble. They are in trouble. They look really bad. And I don't know how to fix it. Timberwolves versus Pacers. Excuse me. My fault. Knicks versus Pacers, right? The rematch of an Eastern Conference game. The winner advances to the finals. The Eastern Conference Finals. But this time, the Knicks were healthy. And they destroyed the Pacers. Wasn't pretty. Pacers looked really bad. But on the Knicks side, Cat. Wow. He did pretty damn good. Proud of Cat, man. I didn't know how good he was going to do on the Knicks, but he's showing he can fit in the system with Thibodeau. I do want to see a little bit more defense, but he looks great. Mikal Bridges, come on. Stop slandering his jumper, man. He had a great game. 21 points. Come on now. It was a good day for Mikal. I like Mikal. Miles McBride did go down with an injury in the first half. However, he returned late in the game, so I wouldn't be that concerned if you're a Knicks fan. On the other side of things, Benedict Mathurin is a stud. Now, Tyrese Halliburton struggled again. Was last year a fluke? We got to ask that question. Was last year a fluke? What's happening with Halliburton? It was just a bad overall game for this Pacers, bad overall game for Halliburton. I mean, can't play like that if you want to do good in the playoffs, move in the playoffs, maybe make the finals. I mean, I don't think they're really contenders. That's my opinion, but they could. I mean, they've got a lot of depth. I don't know. Now moving on to the Cavs-Pistons game. Cavs look super good this season. Might have to move him up to the 4 seed in the East, even though the East is very, very tough. The Cavs look really good. Evan Mobley, we're watching a star, honestly. The numbers don't tell the full story. You got to be watching the game too. If you turn on that game, you're going to see Evan Mobley. You're going to see his impact on offense and especially on defense with Jared Allen, who I haven't talked about enough, but I love Jared Allen. I think he's a stud. Now, also on the Cavs, I've always been really high on Ty Jerome, even coming out of college. I didn't really like him in college at Virginia, but he's finally getting minutes, and I love it because I think he has a really high upside. I'm really happy for him. On the other side of things, Cade Cunningham had a great game. Great game. But, as I said before, this is the case for the Pistons. It's only him, and it's only Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey also had a really good game. He's upcoming. He's going to thrive. He's going to be a really good player in this league. And I've been thinking that since Purdue. He didn't get enough minutes last season. Now they're giving him more minutes, and now he's producing a little bit more. The Pistons don't even look that bad. They don't look that bad at all. So Pistons fans, you're good. Don't worry about it. Probably not going to make the playoffs. And probably not going to make the play-in. You know what? Bright future. And I know you've heard that for a while now, but I mean it. It looks good. It really does. Moving on to the Hawks versus the Hornets. Trae Young, good game, right? On the other, you love to see that if you're a Hawks fan. You love to see Trae Young thriving, great game, But also, if you're a Hawks fan, first overall pick, Zachary Risachet, he looks awful. That's to put it lightly. He does not look good at all. Hawks look like a decent team. They don't look anything crazy. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs or not. Trust me, I love Trae Young, but I don't know, man. He's been on the decline in my personal rankings for like players recently. On the other side of that game with the Hornets, who also don't look very bad at all, LaMelo Ball's balling, right? No pun intended. No pun intended. I think he had like 34 in that game. I could be wrong. I'm not looking at any stat sheets right now, so again, I apologize. Miles Bridges looked good this game. He underperformed the first game, but he bounced back this game. Trey Man's solid. I mean, he's just kind of what you expect him to be. He can be a flamethrower off the bench. He can give you 15 points per game, and you'd be really happy with it. I just don't know how he fits in very well with LaMelo, but they'll figure it out. They gotta have both of them on the court because they're both so talented. Moving on to the Bulls versus Bucks game. Kobe White. He had like 34, 30. He had a great game. And I'm proud. I'm happy because I was really high on Kobe White coming into this season. And you know what? After the first game, I was a little bit nervous. Not anymore. Zach LaVine, also playing outstanding. He's playing great. He's showing what he can do when he's healthy. I mean, this is just an all-around good game for the Bulls. Even like Joshua, 16-year-old Giddey. P. Giddey had a good game. P. Giddey had a good game. If he's having a good game, you better be winning. Even versus the Bucks. And Vucevic also. I love Vooch. Vooch did really good. I like Vucevic a lot. I'm very impressed on his three ball. He's not a bad shooter at all. On the other side of that game, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Wow. He had 30 points with 6 minutes left in the third. Finished with 36, but you can't really ask for that much. He balled, right? He balled. Dame also looks really good. And my main thing with the Bucks is their depth looks really inconsistent. First game, you got guys like Taurean Prince, who not known for doing very well, obviously, but he stepped up and played good the first game. But this game was not it. We'll see how the Bucks pan out. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. They should be fine. Let's move on to the Rockets versus the Grizzlies. Rockets have proved to be a really deep team. Everyone, it's a group scoring team. I love to watch. Like, it's great basketball. It really is. If you're a Rockets fan, you're a little bit concerned on Jabari Smith Jr. because he is struggling just a little bit from three. But you should be pretty happy overall. I can see them sneaking into the playoffs and maybe beating. Nah, I can't see that actually. I'm sorry. They can make the playoffs. I don't think they're gonna make a run, but they can make the playoffs. And for the Grizzlies, Johnny's Jaren Jackson back. Hate to say it, Grizzlies fans. Ja looks good, but he needs to do a little bit more. And Jaren Jackson being out obviously doesn't help him, right? One of the best fours, fives. He's probably gonna play like five because Edie's here, but one of the better players there. Santi Aldama took a step down, but he still played good. I like Santi Aldama. I'm sorry, not familiar with your game, Santi. Edie didn't play bad at all either. I mean, that's kind of what you drafted him for. You're not expecting crazy points. You're not expecting like that much even on the defensive end. You just kind of want him to be just a body down there. Also, like Grizzlies, I love Desmond Bane. He played all right. He was all right, you know. Scottie Pippen Jr. He looks good. He looks decent. I mean, he can definitely you can definitely give him some minutes. You can fill out the stat sheet. He's kind of what Tyus Jones was the other year, where he's like good enough to play, but you're never gonna start him over Ja. You're never gonna play him over Ja. But he's really good to have there. He really does fit in really well there. All right, let's go to that Warriors versus Jazz game. Wow, the Splash Buddies. Buddy Hield. Really, really efficient. You love to see that if you're a Warriors fan. You really, really do. Wiggins also fills up the stat sheet. I mean, Wiggins is really what keeps that team together. Yes, you have Curry. We know Curry. He's always going to have a good game, obviously. One of the best players of our generation. If not, he's the second best behind Braun, in my opinion. There's a case for Curry, though. There definitely is, and it's a lot closer than people might think. But it is LeBron at the end of the day. I'm going to stop ranting about that. Focus back on the video. The bench was really solid. The bench was really solid for the Warriors. That's all I got to say. I mean, there's not much more I can say. It was not a very close game. Because the Jazz, it was an off night. Just for kind of everyone. Markkanen really struggled. Taylor Hendricks, sorry, buddy. You sucked. You sucked tonight. I mean, he just did not play good. I don't know really what you're expecting from him, but he didn't look very good. Neither did, like, Bryce Sensabaugh. Sensabaugh's all right. But, yeah, they might be in trouble. Keontae George is kind of struggling, but I wouldn't be that mad, or I wouldn't be that nervous if you're a Jazz fan. It'll be all right. I mean, you don't really expect to make the playoffs, but you can make the play-in. I don't think you will, but it's definitely possible. Y'all just got to turn some stuff around, make some adjustments, and you'll be fine. All right, let's go to Pelicans versus the Trailblazers. Really, really bad shooting from Zion. Terrible. However, he did fill out the stat sheet. You love to see that from your very, very athletic. I don't even know if he's a big. I mean, he's like a 4, but he like plays on the wing. I need to watch more of the Pelicans games because I don't know. I just gotta watch more of the Pelicans games. Jordan Hawkins looks great. He really does, and I'm happy for him. I really am. CJ McCollum also looks good, and BI, he looked good. I'm a big BI fan again because I was a Laker fan. I am a Laker fan, but I loved watching BI on the Lakers. How about that? How about that game winner over Anthony Simons with the baby mama drama? If you don't know about that, just look it up. It's pretty funny. It's good stuff. Good script writing. Again, they need a center. I mean, you have pieces. You have really good pieces. I mean, I understand that what's his name? That's my bad. I'm blanking right now. Never mind. Whatever. I understand, like, you just drafted me, so you want to give him a chance, but you need a new center. I'm going to be honest. You have really good pieces. I know you have injury to your starting two. I don't even know what DeJounte Murray plays, one or the two. But, I mean, it's one or the other, and CJ plays the other. They might alternate. You never know. I don't know. I don't really know. I didn't really notice that during the game. I think CJ might play the one, but whatever. On the other side of things, Jeremy Grant looks good. He looks good. He almost ended someone's career. I forget who it was, but he drove aggressively and almost put someone in the rim. I liked seeing that. I didn't know he had that in him. Shout out to Jeremy Grant, Pistons legend. Anthony Simons played good, right? I mean, that's kind of what you expect. DeAndre Ayton and Scoot Henderson, I'm not wowed by them, but they didn't do bad either. Like, they just played good. I don't know what to say. They did their jobs. But besides that, no one else on the Blazers really contributed, and that's going to be their downfall. That's why they're not going to make the playoffs this year or the play-in. I mean, if you're really lucky, but I'm just going to be honest. I don't see it. All right, let's go to the last game. The last game I have watched, and let's wrap this video up. We got the Lakers versus the Suns. What I was going to say, I'm so antsy to say it. Anthony Davis, love AD, looks great, having a great year. Can he stay healthy? Again, that's always been the big question with him. Can he stay healthy? Usually not, but no, I'm not gonna say anything. I don't want to jinx him. Reeves and Braun both played really good. Braun had a 30-point triple-double yesterday night. Crazy. Bench struggled for the Lakers, and in that type of game, I would really like it if Connect got a little bit more minutes, but he didn't. I understand, like, he kind of limits us on the defensive, or the Lakers on the defensive end, but I don't know. He's just such a good player on offense. I don't think it really matters. And most importantly, LeBron trusts him, so he can actually play. On the other side, Kevin Durant is on an absolute tear right now. He's balling. Bradley Beal and Booker both look decent. You know, it's going to be one of those three have a great game, and the other two just are all right. I don't think they're ever all three going to have a really good game. Tyus Jones, again, I love Tyus Jones. Just talked about him on the Grizzlies. He did all right. He did solid. However, the Suns really lack depth. And one last thing, Nurkic really struggled. He really struggled tonight. I don't know whether that was AD playing really good defense or he was just off his game. It wasn't pretty. Really wasn't pretty. All right, that's gonna wrap the video up. Hope y'all enjoyed. I know it's a really, really long video. I'm really excited. I'm gonna start dropping more YouTube content. If you haven't followed my TikTok, levy.knows.ball on TikTok, levy.knows.ball on Instagram. Y'all have a good one.